Welcome to another edition of the Longwood Basketball Insider. I'm Greg Prouty, along with the head coach of the Lancers, Mike Gillian. Coach, welcome.
Good morning, Greg.
Coach, it's the fourth day of the second month of the year. Two more games in the Big South last week, both games on the road. Last Wednesday night down at High Point in North Carolina. This past Saturday night at Gardner-Webb in North Carolina. Unfortunately, two more tough road losses, close games at halftime. Final score at High Point was 88-60. Final score at Gardner-Webb, 76-65, and I'll let you talk about those two games.
It's interesting what you think of that you don't even plan to talk about. You mentioned the fourth day of February, Groundhog Day, I believe having just passed. And it's like Groundhog Day, the movie for us a little bit. The same story kind of over and over again. Now, obviously not what we want to have as a final result. And we just got to keep plugging away to get to the point where we can get over the hump, so to speak. We played a really good first half down at High Point. We controlled the tempo. We controlled, to some degree, what High Point was doing. And we knew what they were going to do in order to score. It's Alan Cheney and John Brown for those guys, interior scoring. In the second half, it got away from us. They started pressing. We sped up, which we can't really afford to do right now. Missed some easy shots, allowed the lead to stretch out, then made some mistakes, and the lead stretched out. And even with about 8 minutes to go, in striking distance, we had that same thing occur again and led to the final margin. Down at Gardner-Webb on Saturday night, we controlled play in the first half. We played very well for the first 19 minutes. We gave up 7 straight points to Tashawn Newsome right before halftime that put us in a 3-point deficit at the half after playing really well. And those things are going to happen. One of our challenges, especially recently, has been coming out of the locker room at halftime and playing well to begin the second half. Down there at Gardner-Webb, and it's something we've been talking to the guys about and understanding the importance of that beginning of the second half time period. We were tremendous. We did a really good job getting the shots we wanted, scoring, getting some stops, and took the lead right back. So we're sitting there 14 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go, whatever the time period is, with the lead, controlling the tempo of the game, playing pretty well, and then hit a cold spell. And for us right now, that's really tough to overcome. We went close to 9 minutes during the game without scoring. Not that we were turning the ball over, not that we were making mistakes, not that we were getting bad shots, just not making shots. And there are always new things that are happening for this team. We've not seen much zone defense throughout the course of the year. At the beginning of the second half, in the first half of the Gardner-Webb game, some full court pressure, maybe based on what they saw at High Point. We handled that, we scored. Man-to-man defense, we got the shots we wanted, we scored. We start the second half, we run what we want, very, very disciplined. Got the shots we wanted, scored. They changed, sat back in a zone. We've not seen that a great deal. And we got good shots, but maybe not exactly the ones we wanted. Or maybe that's because they just didn't go in. And that dry spell put us in an 8-9 point deficit. We continued to battle through the end of the game and just came up short there. So we need to keep plugging away. We need to keep working. And we really need to be at home. And we need a weeknight home game. And we need the Lancer Lunatics to be out for that. We need some support in the gym. We need everybody helping to push us forward, and we'll get there.
Coach, we'll talk about those upcoming home games here in just a minute, but before we move on from last week, I do want you to talk about Michael Kessens, the 6'9" freshman out of Switzerland. Had a very good start to the season this year. He had 8 double-doubles in the first 12, 13 games of the year. Hit kind of a lull maybe around the 15th, 16th, 17th game of the season. Last week, he bounced back. He had his 2 highest scoring games of the year. He was 18 of 23 from the floor, 22 points at High Point, a career high. Came back 21 points at Gardner-Webb Saturday night, and starting, shooting very well, playing well, and not rebounding as much, but very effective offensively.
Well, Mike's a talented young man, and this for him is all new. And remember now, it's not only new for him playing at this level of competition. It's not only new for him being here in the States and the game being different than it is in Europe, where here it's much more physical. But it's new for him being in a different country, being away from home, and all of those things. So he's handled himself pretty well. He did hit, I think, not the wall, but a bit of a lull, as you said there. He's played a lot of minutes. He gets banged on a lot. He's got to get on to the next play. It's difficult physically. It's difficult mentally. It can be difficult emotionally. We've not won, so that weighs on everybody with everything they put in to not only their own game, but to this team and to being part of Longwood and Longwood athletics. then I do think you hit a point there where you just kind of take all that, step away maybe a little bit, and understand, yeah, I can be good. And there are certain things that I can do that can help the team. I can have some patience, and there's a balance that exists. And when you get to that point, you actually start to play better. If you stop looking for shots or worrying that you're not getting some, well, then actually more shots come to you. It sounds contradictory, but it really is the flow of the game and how it goes. He has been playing very well. We obviously need him to continue to do that. And with that being said, raise your game even another level. What it's all about in coaching is you want these guys and your team to play to their highest level, which we've not come close to doing yet collectively. And when you achieve that, then keep pushing that level higher, raise the expectation, and then what happens in the long term can be pretty awesome. And we have a whole group right now that we certainly would like those immediate results to be better. We'd like the short term to be better. We're planning for what's coming up in the next couple of weeks, but there's a long-term plan in place here for this group of guys that's going to be special.
Coach, certainly hope to see a strong finish of the season by not only Michael Kessens, but the rest of this team, and still looking for that first Big South victory. What is the mindset of this group right now?
Yeah, it hurts for them. They're the ones, Greg, that are putting the work into where we're trying to get to. And I can tell you this, I had a couple of people ask, and I don't know, inference might be the right word, about the desire or the heart of the players and of the team in general to succeed. And I can tell you this, that those guys are putting everything they have into this team being successful, not only for themselves, but for everybody else that's rooting for them and wants to have that as well. So they're in there every day doing the work. We're still doing the work in the weight room, in practice, on game day. You see all of that. And I know what that is, and I know that will pay off for them. So there's a little frustration, obviously, in not succeeding, but it's not changed the mindset in terms of we have to keep working, we have to keep working together, we have to keep believing in ourselves, we have to believe in each other, we have to believe in what we're doing, and it will pay off.
Coach, I mentioned some games coming up here at home. 4 out of the next 5 are at home. One of those will be this week, Wednesday night. VMI is in town. It'll be Greek night on campus for the fraternities and sororities. Also a Lancer Strong game where the entire student athlete body here at Longwood, all the teams come out and support each other, and look for a big crowd with VMI here as well. Local school, an hour and a half down the road. Talk about the game with VMI on Saturday night, and then on Saturday we go on the road and play at Winthrop down in South Carolina.
As you're adept at doing, you hit about 5 things in one sentence right there. And here's what I know, having been here at Longwood for a while. The Greek night, no matter who you're playing or what it is awesome. The fraternities and sororities, their support for Longwood athletics and all the events at Longwood is awesome. It's huge. They're going to be out in full force, and they're going to bring energy to the gym. The Lancer Strong initiative that was begun this year to get each team not just to come out and support each other, which they always do, but collectively to come out and attend one of the events. Our guys have been at those. That's been incredible. And the general atmosphere of playing VMI, a local rival, a Big South Division rival, an in-state school, the atmosphere has the potential to be awesome in the gym Wednesday night. I know we're going to do our part in that. And in some of these games now, it's been 9 league games. We've been right there in a bunch of them. Maybe that thing you need to push you over the edge is some of that energy. You have to give that to the people in the crowd for them to give that back to you, obviously. And I think we're ready to do that, and it certainly can only help.
Lancer Lunatics will be out in full force Wednesday night as well. Saturday night down at Winthrop, they're starting to play pretty well right now also.
There's balance throughout the league. VMI is 5-3 in our division right now. They've got good wins. They have come out on the short end a few times. They had a game much like we did at High Point a couple of weeks ago. Winthrop right there too. A lot of teams right in 500 range, which we expected. And every game's going to be a challenge. And Saturday, new opponent for us. We've not played against Winthrop in our time here. We've not been down there to their arena, and we're not really familiar with those players. So that'll be another new experience for us, much like Gardner-Webb was on Saturday.
Coach, a quick look at the standings in the Big South. Each week it's a different leader in the North Division. High Point's back up on top in the North Division for the first time this year at 6-3, a half game back. VMI, they were off this past weekend. In the South, Charleston Southern still 7-1. They didn't play over the weekend, but Asheville 7-2 right there, a half game back.
Yeah, when you look at that, Campbell was on top of the North. They had a few losses. High Point had a few home games, a win over us, a win over Presbyterian, gets them to 6-3. Charleston Southern was undefeated before the loss to Gardner-Webb at home last week, and they've been in a bunch of close games. Asheville at 7-2. Well, we're right there in a tie game with 35 seconds to go, or down by 1 with the ball at Asheville. So there's a lot of balance through the league. This will continue over the course of the next 3 weeks leading into the tournament, and should be very exciting as we move toward the end of the regular season and on into the tournament.
Coach, good luck Wednesday night against VMI, Saturday evening at Winthrop down in South Carolina. Look forward to having you here next week and hopefully being able to discuss that first Big South Conference.
That would be awesome. It's coming, and we're working towards it, and let's go Lancers. Let's go.
Good luck this week, Coach. Thanks for joining us for this week's edition of the Longwood Basketball Insider.